Wow, wow, wow. I don't think anyone expected what we just saw. Man City 5, Juventus 2. Let me just double check that it was 5 and not 6 because genuinely this game was so just, I couldn't believe what I was watching. Man City just absolutely dismantled what I thought was a solid Juventus side. I mean, look, the game starts off and Man City are in control. They get that early goal in the 9th minute with a brilliant pass from Aït-Nouri, started from Rodri as well, who makes his first start since the injury. But that finish from Doku, the touch to cut inside, send the defender the wrong way, and then the finish into the far post was absolutely brilliant. And look, I thought that was that. I thought City, look, they're in control. That's it. They're going to kill the game off. And, obviously, we know how the game ended up. But the 2 minutes after the goal, the Doku goal, I think were the only 2 minutes where Juventus had the momentum on their side. Because the game switched completely in tone after the Doku goal. Juventus almost scored with a chance from Vlahovic, which just cut inside brilliantly. And Vlahovic, I mean, he has to do better there. It's cut back to him. And I think Vlahovic actually didn't have a great game. He missed some big chances, and I know he got one in the end, which he'll be very relieved to have done so. Which was a nice goal, to be fair. It was a good finish. And a brilliant ball from Kenan Yildiz, by the way. He has been special this whole tournament, but that assist was absolutely magnificent. But the chances Vlahovic missed beforehand did cost them, and this one specifically. But just 1 minute after that, Ederson, of all people, passes the ball to Koopmeiners, just completely misses Bernardo Silva, who's like 10, 15, 20 yards away from him. And Koopmeiners runs inside the box, tight angle, but it's a very good finish. And he just gets it down under Ederson. So at this point, I'm like, wow, Juve are back in the game. They've completely switched the momentum on their side. They're going to go for it now, surely. That wasn't really the case. And of 15 minutes after of just Man City controlling the ball again, creating chances, Kalulu has one of the biggest howlers that I have ever seen in my whole life. What is he doing? I think it's Matheus Nunes, who cuts inside brilliantly. The ball's nice, but there was no Man City attacker to pounce on it. So I was like, okay, it's going to get cleared. Kalulu, however, had other ideas, and he decides to just tap it in calmly into his own goal. I mean, go watch it if you haven't seen it. It's absolutely ridiculous. And there was pretty much no pressure on him at all. And it's a really, really poor mistake from a top centre-back. And Kalulu, for me, was very poor today. But that was a disgrace. And then, look, that's pretty much how the half continued. City creating chances and controlling the half. Then the rain comes in towards the end of the first half and the fans start rushing inside. But, 5 minutes later, we all know the sun came back out again. There's some really weird weather going on there in Florida. And just to end the half, Marmoush almost gets a great goal. His signature outside the box, power shot, curler. It was just, what Marmoush does. And it was a brilliant save. At first, I thought it might hit the post. But no, it was actually a great save from the goalkeeper to end the half 2-1, which, is obviously Man City have the advantage. They were playing better. But with a better second half plan, Juventus was still in it. They could still get something out of the game. Well, the second half starts and Haaland instantly, who's just been subbed on, almost scores with his first touch. It's a good ball by, I think Nunes again might have been. And Haaland just misses the ball. And, it wasn't necessarily his fault. Maybe he could have been there quicker. Maybe he could have had better reflexes. But it doesn't matter because literally 5 minutes later, Haaland grabs his goal. This time again from Nunes. It was a good ball. And the finish is a little scrappy. I think it takes 2 touches off him, bobbles a little bit. But it goes in the back of the net. And Man City now are just cruising. They're 2 goals up against a Juve side who just doesn't seem to really be trying. And from then on, the game was theirs. I mean, then Yildiz came on 5 minutes later. I thought that might change the game. Didn't really necessarily. Vlahovic missed a big chance after that to potentially bring them back in the game. And 2 minutes later, City just walked the ball in the back of the net for the 4th of the game. The 4th. They were dismantling Juve completely. And this was the Foden goal where Haaland has some great play, plays it inside to Foden, who misses the ball initially, but then Savinho grabs it and selflessly lets Foden take the finish, who's in a better position to score, and it's a tap in, and again, game over. This was just securing it. And I think, funnily enough, Haaland was actually asking Savinho, "Why didn't you shoot?" I think I'm not a lip reader, but in the celebration, the slow mo, they showed Haaland talking to Savinho. I think he was like, "Why didn't you shoot? Why didn't you shoot?" Well, Savinho's goodwill was repaid because just under 10 minutes later, Savinho scores one of the goals of the tournament. With his weak foot, I couldn't believe it because Man City had a good chance. I think it was Haaland whose shot is saved by the Juventus keeper very well. And, you think danger, that's it. Danger evaded and now just get back in shape. Savinho, with other ideas, just grabs the ball with his weak foot and slaps it off the crossbar. Unsavable. And I was in shock at this point. And to make it worse, Ryan Cherky comes on. I mean, bro, this guy is so good. He's just unbelievable. The skill he did with the nutmeg, some of the passes he was making. He's exciting, man. He is going to be dangerous. And Man City have such a good squad. They've announced themselves as contenders. Now look, then Vlahovic scores. Game's still over. Cherky misses one in the 92nd minute, which, to be honest, he should have scored. And that would probably capped off a perfect cameo for Cherky. But Man City today have announced themselves as favourites to win the Club World Cup if they weren't already. And this is a big statement from them because they beat our Ali or our Wydad or one of those teams 6-0 in the previous game. And it's like, okay, it's one of them ones where it's like, it's one of the smaller clubs from, a smaller footballing nation. It's not really a European powerhouse. Juventus are really going to test them. Bro, Juventus did everything but test them. And Man City have proven now that they are a serious side going forward. Defensively, I thought they had some errors, but they completely dictated this game. Rodri's first start since the injury was very positive. I think he was a bit rusty, but to play 65 minutes, he was very decent. He still had that composed swagger about him on the ball, and he was making some good passes. He actually got the assist for the first goal, if you care about that stuff. But bro, City really impressed me today, and that means they're going to be on our side, on Chelsea's side of the Club World Cup knockout draw. Now, I'm shitting myself. If we get to the semi-finals, we will most likely play Man City. And they beat us twice this season, so it's not going to be easy. I do trust my squad. I do think we can, but look, that's looking way too ahead. But wow. Juventus now still through. They'll be on the other side, I think, playing Real Madrid. And they'll probably get smoked. Juventus were really, really bad today. Really poor. Had created nothing. Absolutely nothing. Even when they were 1-2 goals down, there was nothing. They were just on the back foot constantly. Man City were pelting with chances. That's the thing. Man City could have had more. Haaland missed his chance. Doku had a few. Nunes played a few really good balls into the box which went unpunished. There were a lot of chances. I'm probably missing out a few as well. The Cherky one at the end. Bro, Man City today put on a clinic. It was one of, probably for me, the performance of the campaign so far of the Club World Cup, with potentially the goal of the tournament as well from Savinho. And yeah, Man City finished the group stages as the only club as things stand. I don't think there are any left who could do this. Maybe one that I'm not thinking of. No, actually, I think they're the only club who will go through the group stages having gone 3 for 3. And that shows me two things. That shows me, one, how strong the underdog clubs have been against the European sides. But two, how good City are and how serious they are, because they were put in a group with another European powerhouse. I don't even have to do this. Juventus, they're a powerhouse. They're a big club. They're a big side. And to beat them like Man City beat them today is, I'm sorry, but that's a great achievement for them. They'll be really happy with that. And yeah, that is all I have to say. It was a very good game for a neutral like me who maybe wanted Juventus to put a bit more of a fight. But there were goals, a lot of them, some very nice ones. And there was some good football being played from Man City's part. But yeah, I'll see you lot on Saturday after the Benfica game. I'm not sure if I'll make a video tomorrow. That's why I made 2 today. Because tomorrow I'm going to be busy. I'm going to be going to London. So yeah. And Saturday I'm also going to be busy, but I'll be back for the game. So great game of football today, and I'll see you lot later.